The bright morning sun peeked through the blinds as 17-year-old Maya Chen stared at her reflection in the bathroom mirror. Her stomach twisted into knots, a feeling she'd grown familiar with ever since her parents announced they were moving. Again, this would be her third school in 4 years. "You'll be fine," she whispered to herself, adjusting her simple blue sweater. "Just keep your head down. Get through the year." Outside, her mom honked the car horn twice. Maya grabbed her backpack, took a deep breath, and headed out. Westlake. High school loomed before her, a maze of unfamiliar faces and hallways. Students rushed past in their established groups, laughing and talking as if they'd known each other forever. Which most of them probably had. The main office smelled like old coffee and printer paper. A lady with kind eyes handed Maya her schedule and a school map that looked more confusing than helpful. "Don't worry, honey," the secretary said, noticing Maya's worried expression. "Everyone's nervous on their first day. First period wasn't too bad. Second period, Maya got lost and arrived late, earning her curious stares from everyone as she slipped into the only empty seat. By lunchtime, Maya felt exhausted from smiling politely and repeating her backstory. "My mom got a research position. At the university. Yes, we moved from across the country. No, I don't know anyone here." The cafeteria buzzed with noise and energy. Maya scanned the room, looking for any welcoming face or empty table. She spotted one near the window with only a few backpacks on it. Perfect. She had just set down her lunch tray when a sharp voice cut through the air. Excuse me? What do you think you're doing?" Maya looked up to see 3 girls staring at her. The one who had spoken stood with her arms crossed, eyebrows raised, waiting for an answer. She wore expensive-looking clothes and had her hair styled in perfect waves. I was just sitting down to eat," Maya said, immediately sensing she'd made some kind of mistake. "Yeah, at our table," said the second girl, taller with straight blonde hair. "Everyone knows this is where Alicia, Brooke, and I sit." The third girl, who Maya assumed must be Brooke, just smirked. "I'm sorry," Maya said, gathering her things. "I didn't know." "Well, now you do," Alicia said sweetly, but her eyes remained cold. "Maybe try the tables by the trash cans. That's usually where the new kids sit." Several students nearby chuckled. Maya's cheeks burned as she picked up her tray and walked away, feeling dozens of eyes on her back. She ended up eating alone at an empty table in the corner, picking at her food without much appetite. In 4th period chemistry, the teacher announced they would be working on a major lab project in pairs. "Alicia, you'll be working with our new student, Maya," the teacher said, checking off names on his clipboard. Maya's heart sank. Of all the students in class, she had to be paired with Alicia. She glanced across the room and caught Alicia's scowl. For the first few days, Alicia barely spoke to Maya except to criticize her ideas. But when they got their first test results back and Maya scored the highest grade in class, something changed. In Alicia's attitude, the silent treatment transformed into something worse. "So you think you're some kind of genius?" Alicia asked one day after class. "Nobody likes a show-off." "I'm not showing off," Maya said quietly. "I just studied hard." "Whatever, just don't mess up our project. Some of us actually care about getting into good colleges." The next day, Maya noticed whispers and stares following her through the hallways. During lunch, a boy from her English class showed her his phone. "Is this you?" he asked. On the screen was a social media profile with Maya's name and photo. The page was filled with embarrassing posts, things she would never say or do. One post showed her bragging about cheating on tests. Another had poorly edited photos that made it look like she was making fun of teachers and students. "That's not me," Maya said, her voice tight. "I didn't create that." But the damage was done. By the end of the week, most students avoided her. Even teachers gave her suspicious looks. Things kept getting worse. Someone accidentally spilled soda on her math homework. Her gym clothes disappeared from her locker. During group activities, no one wanted her on their team. One day, Maya was working on their chemistry project alone in the lab after school. She heard laughter outside the door and recognized Alicia's voice, along with her friends. Did you see her face when Mr. Parker asked about her missing assignment? Brooke was saying. As if we'd believe someone stole it, Alicia replied. That fake social page was genius, Dee. Now everyone knows what she's really like. I almost feel bad, said a quieter voice. The third girl, who Maya now knew was Dina. Don't you think it's going a bit far? She deserves it, Alicia snapped. Walking in here acting all perfect. Did you see how Mr. Parker praised her lab technique? My dad donated money for that science wing and suddenly everyone's obsessed with the new girl. Maya sat perfectly still until they walked away. Then she pulled out her phone and hit stop on the recording app. She played it back, making sure their voices were clear. That night, Maya sat cross-legged on her bed, thinking. At her last school, she'd been respected. Captain of the debate team, known for her quick thinking and planning. She'd also spent 4 years training in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, not because she wanted to fight, but because her parents thought self-defense was important. Maya opened her laptop and created a new document. At the top she typed, Operation Takedown. The bullies thought they'd found an easy target, a quiet new girl they could push around. What they didn't realize was that Maya wasn't just smart. She was strategic, and they had just picked the wrong girl to mess with. The next morning, Maya got to school early with a new sense of purpose. She found a quiet corner in the library and pulled out a small notebook. If she was going to beat these bullies, she needed to be smart about it. Getting angry or fighting back directly would only make things worse. Know your enemy, her jiu-jitsu instructor always said. Understand their strengths and weaknesses before you make your move. Maya drew 3 circles on the page and wrote the names. Alicia, Brooke, and Dina. Then she started jotting down everything she knew about each of them. For the next 2 weeks, Maya kept her head down but her eyes and ears open. She became like a detective, noticing things most people missed. She changed her routes between classes so she could, accidentally, bump into the trio at different times of day. She sat at tables near them in the cafeteria, pretending to read while listening to their conversations. Every night, Maya added to her notes. She noticed how Brooke, despite being the loudest and meanest in public, always looked at Alicia first, before saying anything important, like she needed permission. Dina was different. Sometimes she laughed along with the others, but other times, she seemed uncomfortable, especially when things went too far. Maya started recording everything on her phone, not just the times they bothered her, but also their conversations with others. She saved screenshots of the fake social media account they'd made. She wrote down every single incident with dates, times, and the names of people who had seen what happened. During chemistry class, Maya pretended to be totally focused on the lab work while Alicia chatted with friends. That's how she overheard something interesting. I need to finish that history paper for Tyler by tomorrow, Alicia whispered to Brooke. He's paying double because it's late. How many of those are you writing now? Brooke asked. Alicia shrugged. 6, 7, most of the basketball team. Easy. Money? Maya's eyebrows rose slightly, but she kept her expression neutral. So Alicia was writing papers for athletes and charging them for it. That was definitely against school rules. The next day, Maya noticed a flyer for the school newspaper. They needed new writers. Perfect. She showed up at the meeting after school and met Priya, the editor. You're new, right? Priya asked, offering Maya a seat. Any experience with journalism? Some, Maya said. I worked on my old school's paper. They chatted for a while, and Maya mentioned casually that she'd had some trouble with Alicia and her friends. Priya's face changed. Join the club. Last year they spread rumors that I cheated on my boyfriend. It nearly ruined my life until people realized it wasn't true. I'm sorry that happened, Maya said sincerely. They seem to have a lot of power here. Too much, Priya agreed. But nobody stands up to them because Alicia's dad is on the school board and donates a ton of money. Another piece of the puzzle. Maya added Priya to her mental list of potential allies. Maya also signed up as a peer tutor in the library after school. Most students treated her nicely there, away from Alicia's influence. Many of them had their own stories about the trio. They put gum in my hair last year, a quiet girl named Ling told her. I had to cut off half my ponytail. They stole my gym clothes once, a boy named Victor admitted. I had to wear the old, lost and found stuff. Everyone laughed. These weren't just random mean acts. Maya realized there was a pattern. Anyone who did better than Alicia in a class or got attention that she wanted became a target. During computer class, Maya noticed the teacher, Ms. Harmon, watching Alicia with suspicious eyes. After class, Maya stayed behind to ask a question about the assignment. "You're doing really well," Ms. Harmon told her, "especially for a transfer student." "Thanks. I really enjoy computers," Maya said. Then, hesitating as if nervous, she added, "Actually, I've been having some trouble with certain students here." Ms. Harmon's expression softened. "Let me guess. Alicia and her friends?" Maya nodded. The teacher sighed. "I caught Alicia trying to access the grade system last semester. I reported it, but without enough proof, nothing happened. Her father made quite a scene about false accusations." "That must have been frustrating," Maya said. "It was. Just be careful around them, okay?" On her way out, Maya spotted a security camera in the hallway corner. She made a mental note of its position, then looked around and spotted more throughout the building. The school had cameras everywhere, in hallways, the cafeteria, even outside classrooms. How had she not noticed them before? That afternoon, Maya stopped by the front office with a question about her schedule. While waiting, she chatted with the friendly secretary. "Those are some serious security cameras you have here," Maya mentioned casually. "Oh, yes," the secretary said proudly. "New system last year. Principal Wong insisted after some vandalism incidents they record everything." "Everything?" Maya asked, her mind racing with possibilities. "Yep, stored for a whole month before it gets erased." Maya smiled. "That's good to know." By Friday afternoon, 3 weeks after Operation Takedown began, Maya had gathered more information than she'd ever expected. She knew the social hierarchy of the entire school. She had recordings, screenshots, and witness accounts of at least 12 separate bullying incidents. She knew about Alicia's paper writing business for athletes. And most importantly, she had identified the weak link in the trio, Dina, who didn't seem to enjoy being mean as much as the others. Maya laid out her evidence on her bedroom floor, looking at all the connections. She wasn't just gathering random information, she was building a case. And now, with everything in place, it was time to make her first move. Monday morning arrived with a nervous energy buzzing through Maya's body. Today was the day she would start fighting back. Not with fists or mean words, but with something more powerful: the truth. She spotted Alicia at her locker between first and second periods. The hallway was crowded with students hurrying to class. Perfect timing. Maya took a deep breath and walked directly toward her tormentor. Alicia saw her coming and smirked, obviously expecting an easy target. "Well, look who it is," Alicia said loudly. "The teacher's pet." Several students slowed down, probably expecting to see Maya get embarrassed again. But this time was different. "Hey, Alicia," Maya said calmly. She didn't sound angry or scared, which clearly surprised the other girl. "I've been meaning to talk to you." Alicia rolled her eyes. "I'm busy. Some of us have actual friends to hang out with." "I understand why you'd feel threatened by me," Maya said, keeping her voice friendly but just loud enough for nearby students to hear. "It must be hard maintaining your image when you're barely passing classes legitimately." Alicia's smile dropped instantly. "What are you talking about?" Maya tilted her head slightly. "I wonder if Coach Stevens knows about your little business writing papers for the basketball team. Tyler seemed pretty stressed about getting his history paper from you yesterday." The color drained from Alicia's face. "You don't know what you're talking about," she hissed, but her voice had lost its confidence. "Maybe I don't," Maya shrugged. "Or maybe I do. See you in chemistry." She walked away before Alicia could respond, feeling the girl's shocked stare burning into her back. Maya didn't look back, but she could hear the whispers already starting. She had planted the first seed of doubt, and now she just had to wait for it to grow. By lunchtime, Alicia was glaring daggers at her from across the cafeteria. Brooke kept whispering in Alicia's ear, probably plotting their next attack. But Maya noticed something interesting. Dina wasn't sitting with them today. After school, Maya stopped by the newspaper office. Priya was there, typing furiously, on her computer. "Hey," Maya said. "Any interesting stories lately?" Priya looked up and grinned. "Actually, yes. Someone put a note in our anonymous tip box about cheating going on with the basketball team's papers. We're looking into it." "Really?" Maya tried to sound surprised. "That's big news. Huge if it's true. The basketball team is heading to state championships this year." The next day, 2 basketball players approached Alicia in the hallway. Maya was too far away to hear their conversation, but their angry gestures told the story. They were worried about the rumors. One of them pointed a finger at Alicia before storming off. During chemistry, Alicia slid Maya a note. "You're dead meat." Maya just smiled pleasantly and continued with her lab work. After class, she headed to the library for her tutoring session. To her surprise, Dina was waiting there. "You tutor people in math, right?" Dina asked, looking uncomfortable. "That's right," Maya said carefully. "I need help. I'm failing pre-calc." Maya studied the girl's face, looking for any sign of a trap. But Dina just seemed tired. "Okay," Maya said. "Let's sit over here." They worked on math problems for almost an hour. Dina wasn't stupid. She just hadn't been taught properly. By the end of the session, she seemed to actually understand the material. "Thanks," Dina said as they packed up. "You're really good at explaining things." Maya decided to take a chance. "Can I ask you something? Why do you hang out with Alicia and Brooke? You don't seem to enjoy being mean to people like they do." Dina stared at her hands. "It's complicated. We've been friends since elementary school, and trust me, it's better to be their friend than their enemy." "Is it?" "Because from where I'm standing, being their friend doesn't look very fun either." Dina didn't answer, but as she left, Maya thought she saw something new in the girl's eyes. Doubt. The next day, while everyone was in class, someone broke into Alicia's locker and stole her phone. The whole school was buzzing about it by lunch. "I bet she's freaking out," Priya whispered to Maya in the cafeteria. "Alicia's whole life is on that phone." Maya nodded but said nothing. She noticed Alicia and Brooke huddled in a corner, looking panicked. Dina sat with them, but wasn't talking. After school, Maya followed Dina to her car in the parking lot. "Hey," Maya called out. "You forgot your calculator yesterday." When Dina turned around, Maya held out a USB drive instead of a calculator. "What's this?" Dina asked. "Everything I've collected over the past month. Recordings of you 3 bullying me and others. Screenshots of that fake account you guys made. Evidence of Alicia's cheating business." Maya paused. "And a copy of all the mean texts Alicia sent about you to Brooke last week." Dina's eyes widened. "What texts?" "The ones where she called you pathetic and said she only keeps you around because your dad drives them to the mall. The ones where she told Brooke they should find a cooler 3rd friend next year." Maya kept her voice gentle. "I found them when I hacked into her cloud backup after her phone got stolen." "You stole her phone?" Dina whispered. Maya just smiled. "I have no idea who took her phone, but whoever did it made sure it will be returned to the lost and found tomorrow, after everything interesting has been backed up elsewhere." Dina stared at the USB drive. "Why are you showing me this?" "Because when all of this comes out, and it will, everyone involved is going to face consequences, but there's still time for you to decide which side you want to be on." Maya turned to leave, then looked back. "Oh, and I made a folder of chat messages where you tried to get the others to stop being so mean. Not everyone might see those, but Principal Wong definitely will." She walked away, feeling Dina's stunned gaze following her. The seed of doubt she'd planted with Alicia was now a sprout. The one with Dina was blooming into something that might actually break the trio apart. That night, Maya received a text from an unknown number. "It's Dina. We need to talk. What do you want from me?" Maya smiled as she typed her response. "I want to change things, and I think deep down you do too." The annual school assembly was 1 week away. Every year, Westlake High showcased special student projects in the main auditorium. The entire school would attend, along with teachers, parents, and even some local news reporters. This year, Maya had been selected to present her science project on renewable energy. It was a big honor, especially for a new student. Predictably, Alicia and Brooke were furious. "She's only been here 5 minutes and suddenly she's the star of the assembly," Brooke complained loudly in the hallway when Maya walked past. "Must be nice to be teacher's pet." Maya just smiled and kept walking. Let them think she didn't care, let them underestimate her. It would make their downfall all the more satisfying. The night after their text exchange, Maya met Dina at a coffee shop far from school, where no one would see them together. Dina looked nervous, glancing over her shoulder every few minutes as if expecting Alicia to burst through the door. "So what's your plan?" Dina asked, wrapping her hands around her mug. "You have all this evidence. What are you going to do with it?" "That depends," Maya said. "Right now, only Alicia and Brooke would face serious consequences. You're on the edge, involved but not the ringleader. And you want me to help you take them down?" Dina said, looking miserable. "I want you to help me fix a broken system," Maya corrected her. "This isn't just about me, or even about Alicia. It's about making sure no one else gets bullied like this again." Dina was quiet for a long time. "They're planning something for your assembly presentation," she finally said. "Something bad?" Maya leaned forward. "Tell me everything." By the time they left the coffee shop 2 hours later, Maya knew exactly what Alicia and Brooke were planning, and how to turn it against them. For the next few days, Maya worked with 2 groups. Publicly, she rehearsed her science presentation with her teachers. But secretly, she worked with Dina and a carefully selected team of allies: Priya from the newspaper, Victor and Ling, who had both been bullied, and Raj from the AV club, who controlled the sound and video systems for school events. "You really think this will work?" Raj asked as they finalized their plan in the empty AV room after school. "It has to," Maya said. "We only get one shot at this." The day before the assembly, Alicia cornered Maya by the water fountain. For once, she was alone, no Brooke or Dina backing her up. "Excited about tomorrow?" Alicia asked, with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Very," Maya replied honestly. "You should be. It's going to be quite a show." Alicia leaned closer. "You know, I almost respect you. You're smarter than I thought. But nobody crosses me at this school and gets away with it." "I guess there's a first time for everything," Maya said calmly. Alicia's fake smile vanished. "Enjoy your last day of not being a total loser." She stalked away, phone already in hand, probably texting Brooke about their plan. That night, Maya could barely sleep. Everything was in place, but so many things could still go wrong. Around midnight, her phone buzzed with a text from Dina. "Alicia just called. All set for tomorrow. She doesn't suspect anything. Good luck." Maya texted back a simple thanks and finally drifted off to sleep. The next morning, the auditorium buzzed with excitement. Parents filed in, teachers hushed chattering students, and Principal Wong took the stage to welcome everyone. Maya sat in the front row, watching as other students presented their projects. Her hands were sweaty, but her face remained calm. Finally, it was her turn. "And now," Principal Wong announced, "Maya Chen will present her award-winning renewable energy project." The crowd applauded as Maya walked to the center of the stage. She connected her laptop to the projector and began her presentation. Everything was going perfectly, until she clicked to advance to her third slide. The screen went black for a moment. From the corner of her eye, Maya saw Alicia and Brooke exchanging excited glances. This was it, the moment they'd been waiting. For according to Dina, instead of Maya's carefully prepared slides, an embarrassing video would play, one they'd created using deepfake technology to make it look like Maya was doing and saying humiliating things. They'd hacked into the school's AV system yesterday and replaced her presentation file. What they didn't know was that Maya and Raj had already discovered their sabotage and set up a trap of their own. The screen flickered, and instead of the fake video, a different presentation began to play. The title slide read, "Bullying at Westlake, a Case Study." A collective gasp went through the audience as the screen filled with evidence, screenshots of the fake social media account with IP addresses traced to Alicia's home computer, audio recordings of Alicia and Brooke planning various acts of bullying, security camera footage showing them stealing Maya's gym clothes, vandalizing her locker, and spilling drinks on her assignments. The most damning evidence came last. Screenshots of text conversations between Alicia and various athletes, arranging payments for papers she'd written for them. There were even Venmo receipts. Maya stood calmly on stage, watching as Alicia's face turned from smug to horrified. Brooke looked like she might throw up. The auditorium had gone completely silent except for some shocked whispers. Principal Wong recovered first, rushing to the stage. "That's enough," he said, his voice shaking with barely controlled anger. "Alicia, Brooke, my office, now." The two girls didn't move, frozen in their seats. Dina, sitting several rows away from them, stared at her hands. "Now," Principal Wong repeated. This time they got up, walking slowly through the stunned crowd like zombies. Maya cleared her throat. "I apologize for the interruption," she said into the microphone. "There seems to have been some confusion with my presentation files. If I may, I'd like to continue with my actual renewable energy project." Principal Wong looked at her with new respect and nodded. "Please do." Maya delivered the rest of her presentation flawlessly. When she finished, the applause was thunderous. As she walked back to her seat, she caught Dina's eye. The girl gave her a small, uncertain smile. Phase 1 of Operation Takedown was complete, but Maya's work wasn't done yet. Exposing the bullies was just the beginning. Now came the harder part, changing the system that had allowed them to thrive. The days following the assembly were like walking through a dream. Students who had never spoken to Maya suddenly smiled and waved in the hallways. Teachers looked at her with newfound respect. Even Principal Wong nodded appreciatively when they passed each other. For the first time since arriving at Westlake, Maya walked the halls without looking over her shoulder. Alicia and Brooke were suspended for 2 weeks. The school board held a special meeting to discuss their case, with Alicia's father recusing himself due to the obvious conflict of interest. They faced academic probation, community service hours, and were banned from all extracurricular activities for the rest of the year. The athletes involved in the cheating scandal faced their own consequences. 2 seniors lost scholarship offers when the universities found out. The basketball team was placed under extra academic supervision, with weekly grade checks and mandatory study halls. Maya didn't feel happy about the punishments exactly, but she did feel relieved. Actions had consequences. That was how the world was supposed to work. On her first day back, Dina approached Maya by her locker. "Hey," she said, looking different, somehow. More confident, maybe. Or just more genuine. "Can we talk?" They found an empty classroom and sat on desks facing each other. "I've been thinking a lot," Dina said, "about everything that happened. What you did was scary, but also kind of amazing." "I just showed people the truth," Maya said. "Yeah, but most people wouldn't have been brave enough to do it." Dina picked at a loose thread on her sleeve. "I wasn't. You helped in the end," Maya pointed out. "Only after you backed me into a corner." Dina gave a small laugh. "But that's the thing. You gave me a choice. You could have exposed me along with them, but you didn't." Maya studied her face. "I meant what I said. You never seemed to enjoy the bullying like they did. I didn't, but I went along with it, which is just as bad." Dina looked up. "I want to make things right. Not just with you, with everyone we hurt." Maya smiled slowly. "I might have an idea about that." The next day, Maya requested a meeting with Principal Wong. She arrived with Priya from the newspaper, Raj from the AV club, and, to everyone's surprise, Dina. "I'm listening," Principal Wong said, eyeing them curiously. Maya took a deep breath. We believe Westlake needs a better system for handling bullying, not just punishing it after it happens, but preventing it in the first place. For the next 20 minutes, they presented their proposal, a peer mediation program where students would be trained to help resolve conflicts before they escalated, an anonymous reporting system so kids could seek help without fear, and a reformed honor code that addressed not just academic dishonesty, but social behavior too. This would take significant resources, Principal Wong said when they finished, and student volunteers willing to put in the work. We've already got volunteers, Priya said, pulling out a list of 20 names, all students who had experienced bullying or witnessed it. And I'd like to be the first peer mediator, Dina added quietly, if that's allowed. Principal Wong looked impressed. I'll bring this to the school board next week. In the meantime, you have my permission to start organizing training sessions. As they left his office, Raj nudged Maya's shoulder. You planned this all along, didn't you? This wasn't just about taking them down. Maya shrugged. Taking down bullies feels good for a day. Changing the system feels good forever. Over the next few weeks, the peer mediation program took shape. They converted an unused classroom into a comfortable meeting space with posters about conflict resolution on the walls. 30 students signed up for training, not just those who had been bullied, but popular kids too. Athletes, student council members, even a few former friends of Alicia and Brooke. When Alicia and Brooke returned from suspension, things were different. Students didn't exactly shun them, but they no longer held the same power. Without their audience, their mean comments fell flat. Without fear, their threats meant nothing. To everyone's surprise, Brooke was the first to approach the peer mediators. Her former friends were spreading rumors about her, and she didn't know how to handle it. Dina was the one who helped her through it, showing more kindness than Brooke had ever shown others. Alicia took longer. For weeks, she walked around like nothing had changed, head high, ignoring the whispers. But Maya noticed her sitting alone at lunch, the isolation clearly wearing on her. One afternoon, Maya found Alicia crying in the bathroom. Go ahead, enjoy it, Alicia said bitterly when she saw Maya. You won. I'm miserable. Happy now? Not really, Maya said honestly. This wasn't about making you miserable. It was about stopping you from making everyone else miserable. Alicia wiped her eyes. So what am I supposed to do now? Everyone hates me. They don't hate you. They just don't fear you anymore. There's a difference. Maya leaned against the sink. You could try actually being nice, making real friends instead of followers. Like it's that easy. It's not easy, Maya admitted, but it's worth it. And if you want help, the peer mediators meet every Tuesday and Thursday after school. She left Alicia to think about it. Some people changed, some didn't. But at least now everyone had the choice. By the end of the semester, Maya barely recognized Westlake. New students were welcomed instead of hazed. Conflicts were addressed openly instead of festering into resentment. The peer mediators had handled over 30 cases, preventing countless instances of bullying before they could start. The local newspaper ran a story about their program, calling it a model for other schools. Maya was interviewed along with Dina and Principal Wong. The headline read, "Students Lead the Change, How One School Tackled Bullying and Won." That night, Maya sat on her bed, updating her journal. She'd started it to document bullying incidents, but now it held something much more valuable. The story of how one person really could change an entire community. Her phone buzzed with a text from Priya. Just heard from my friend at Lincoln High. They want us to help them start a peer mediation program too. Maya smiled as she texted back, "Count me in." As she closed her journal, Maya thought about how differently things had turned out from what she'd expected. She hadn't just taken down a few bullies, she'd helped build something better in their place. And somehow that victory felt much more satisfying than revenge ever could.